Who are your altitude friends and what are they all training for?
What is Daniel's worst habit? So many to choose from.
Do you think it's sexist the way that girl elites have to dress for races? Right, so whilst I'm waiting for the cavalry to arrive, I'm doing my pre-sesh activations, I thought I'd get started with some questions. And these ones come from my patrons. I put a little note on my Patreon last week saying it wouldn't be altitude without a Q&A video, so hit me with your questions. And I promised all of my patrons I would answer all of their questions because, well, you guys are legends. So John has 2 questions. He said, I was wondering, since you've been running and have been coached as a competitive runner, do coaches work on your running form and technique? And if so, how much and at what age/stage of your running career? As an amateur, we all have running styles all over the place. John, so do the elites. I'm not gonna lie, there are some very fast runners who still have very non-traditional, non-perfect running styles, and that's okay. Sometimes changing your running style is actually detrimental. Like if you've always been a heel striker and you just go out for a run and try to be a forefoot striker, you're gonna get injured because everything is conditioned to that way that you've always naturally run. In my experience, no. Recently, I have quite a nice running style for which I'm very thankful, and there's not much that really needs tweaking there. It's quite efficient, it works for me. When I was younger, my coach used to tell me off for eating my dinner whilst I was running because I used to run like this with my arms up really high, and he'd say, Phily, stop eating your dinner because this isn't very helpful. So I had to learn to make sure that my elbows and wrists stayed a lot closer to my body and almost came past my hips, which I'm now proud enough to say I do that. And John's second question is, since you run so much, I was wondering if your Coros gives you a grade adjusted pace when you run hills, and if so, how accurate is that to your perceived effort? Coros actually does do that. I've got a screen on my watch which says effort pace, so when I'm going uphill, it takes into account the gradient, my typical usual paces, and my heart rate, and gives it an effort pace. So even if I'm plodding uphill at 7:30, it'll often say sort of like 6:10 or something. So that's quite a good gauge to let you know to slow down if it's an easy run and not be kind of precious about running 8-9 minute miling in my case. I appeared to be filming this video over a couple of days, and what is my hair doing? That's, wow, yeah, that's quite something. I filmed one question yesterday and I was going to film the whole video, but time ran away with me. Anyway, next question from another one of my lovely patrons. Graham has said, now you find yourself in a trail running environment, how applicable is trail running to your main goals in road running? And what is the weirdest thing you found in the French supermarché? I'm not gonna beat around the bush, Graham. I'm not gonna do a trail race. I am, however, very much enjoying mixing it up and doing some runs on some very easy trails. Apart from the one that we ran on last Saturday, that was an exception.
Actually winged.
You know, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's very picturesque out here, it makes you feel good on the runs, but my races will remain on the roads and on the track a little bit. And the weirdest thing I found in a French supermarché, I mean, I don't know if weird is the right word, all the same stuff, just different. I will say that the best Haribo ever is here in France, and that is Draggy Bus. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, you need to get to know, because Draggy Bus is gonna fill every empty part of my suitcase on my way home. Let me just pivot on around here so that we can all see the lovely view. Next question. Jill and Michael have each to ask a question separately. Jill says, do you have any recommendations for feeling safe as a lone female runner? I would say if you're running in the dark, wear something bright, take a head torch, try and have your music turned down if you have music in, and maybe wear bone conduction headphones. When I used to run in the dark a lot when I was working full time back home, I used to share my location with Daniel whilst I was out, tell him how long I'd be gone for. I know other people that carry pepper spray in America. You're not allowed to do that in the UK, or, you know, a rape alarm or something with them. It's really a shame that a lot of women don't feel safe to run at all, let alone without those things. But if it means that you feel safe to run by taking those things with you, then, you know, I think it's a good thing. And Michael's question, I can only assume that Jill and Michael are a couple. Michael's question is, any thoughts on motorised treadmills versus non-motorised? I don't think I've ever run on a non-motorised treadmill. Oh, I have. I know what you mean. Sorry. You're talking about like these curved treadmills where you have to run to make them move and then you slow down, they slow down. I think those are really good for sprint training, and I see a lot of sprinters using them because you're kind of in control of the pace and you have to be confident that the treadmill knows what you're doing. I very rarely run on the treadmill. So, I mean, I would love a Woodway. Those are the best treadmills, but they are very expensive. It's beautiful out here, but it's cold. So I'm gonna go back inside the mansion. Whoa! Which also means I don't need these beautiful sunglasses on. Doopy doopy doo. Okay, next Patreon question. Veronica Castellovort. I don't think I'm going to pronounce your surname correctly. I apologise. Veronica says, are there any differences at all in how your body recovers from a running session at altitude? And if so, what can you do to make sure you're recovering well before you go on your next run? Yes, I'd say like the first couple of weeks out here, well actually the whole time you're at altitude, like it takes longer to recover because your body needs oxygen. There's less oxygen up here. It needs oxygen to recover. It needs oxygen to run. And so with less oxygen, your body's working harder to do all of those things. But once you've been at altitude for 2, 3, 4+ weeks, your body does start to adapt and become better at doing that with less oxygen. In terms of how you can adapt to recover better, it's topping up on all of those recovery classics. Sleep, hydration, electrolytes, making sure you're eating plenty, active recovery, resting, just doing restful activities, taking longer rest in between reps and leaving longer between runs perhaps. I've been smashing my sleep up here and that's been the biggest thing. I've been making sure that I get 8+ hours every night and I've felt great for it. So that would be my number one tip. Next question. Mathilde would like to know, do you think you'll ever do a training camp in Kenya? I would love to. I have been to Kenya before, just for a week, which was not long enough. It was absolutely years ago. I went for a safari holiday and it was really cool, but I would love to go to Kenya and just experience the running scene up there. I feel like it's iconic. It is higher than anywhere else I've ever been to altitude, I think. I think it's higher than Flagstaff. Might need to fact check that. But yes, hopefully I will do soon or in the near future. There's a little bit more logistical planning that needs to go into going to Kenya, and I guess that takes a little bit more thought and seeing who's out there and stuff. There's obviously normally more people that I would know in Fon or St. Maria's because they're closer to home. But yeah, I mean, you've got to go and train with the legends to experience that kind of iconic way of life up there in E10, I think. So yes, one day. I'm on my hot girl walk, looking at the mountains. I'm probably getting stared at by people who are wondering what the hell I'm doing. I am filming a video, that's what I'm doing, and admiring these stellar views. I thought I would stretch the legs and answer a few more of your questions. So, Michael, who is also a patron, would like to know, what is your general strategy for cooling down post-run? How do you motivate yourself to cool down for a mile or two after a long run? Well, Michael, after a long run, I don't. I just finished the long run and I will do a few stretches. Perhaps I'll give you a demonstration of said stretches to actually show you what I do, cool down after a long run. And just so you know, whilst I'm setting my camera up, there is a man staring at me whilst I do this, just for context. I often get tight glutes, so this one, sat on the boot of a car, is one of my favourites. Just a few stretches, you know, push something over, stretch the calves out, maybe walk it off a bit. To be honest, I need to be a bit better at that post long run, cooling down. But so long as you keep moving a little bit and don't just stop, sit in a car for 3 hours, for example, you're fine. After a session, a little bit more is needed, and I will do a 2 to 3 mile cool down jog after a workout, and then a few stretches. And how do I motivate myself to do that? I motivate myself to do it by knowing how bad I'll feel if I don't. So do it for your future self, and if you can find yourself some workout buddies, doing a cool down, even if it becomes a death march, it just makes it so much easier. Ooh, this is a good one. Another one from Mathilde. I've heard that heat is the poor man's altitude training. You've mentioned before that you've done heat training in the past, but I understood it as a way to cope if a race happened to be particularly hot. Correct. Have you found any advantages to heat training that might improve regular running in the same way that altitude training has a has a positive impact on the body's performance. In my experience, heat is just a nightmare and I avoid if I can, but maybe I'm missing some advantages. You're right, heat is a nightmare. If it's a hot day and it's, I don't know, 25 plus degrees Celsius versus 15 degrees Celsius, you will see a performance shift across the results because it's just harder to run in the heat. So the benefit, I would agree with what you're saying, is to acclimatise to the heat if you know that you've got a race in hot conditions. So when I was in Oregon, I did some training in the heat chamber for nationals in Texas, which I never ended up doing because I didn't make it, and they noticed that I was quite naturally good at adjusting and being able to cope well in the heat based on all of my metrics. But it's not the same as altitude in that, like, there's no internal kind of adjustment that means that when you then go to normal temperatures you're better at running, whereas altitude actually adjusts your oxygen carrying capacity by, you know, spending time here in the body adapting to it. And that's as sciencey as I can get, basically. Ooh, I'm properly exploring. This is really cool. This was unplanned. Oh wow, look at the mountain. Okay, there's some people coming. They're gonna think I'm really weird. Bonjour. If anyone speaks French and can tell me what that man said, I would appreciate it. I said hello. Ah, this is so stunning. Phil would like to know, how do you organise one of these camps? He said, do you have a contact or anyone that you use as a guide? And whilst I'm not able to go for a full 5 weeks, I'm very interested in doing a week, maybe next year. And I realise that a week isn't enough for the effect. It's more just have a beautiful running holiday somewhere. I would recommend. I just do it on my own. I actually booked this Airbnb just for me, expecting to come out for 5 weeks on my own. I'm really glad that I haven't been out here on my own and that I had room for a second person, but that's why it's quite snug in our apartment. Neve let me know that she was looking to come out and I said, come and bunk with me. So we're both in there together, and I knew where to stay because I've come here before. I came in 2016 when I went with a university, so they kind of planned it all for us, but it's really just sort of word of mouth, knowing where's good, where to stay in relation to the training facilities, how to book in to be able to use the track and stuff. Yeah, there's not really a contact specifically that I use, but Phil, if you're interested, just shoot me a message on Patreon and I would be happy to give you some insights or some tips on coming out here for a week if you want to. And whilst it's quite nice and sunny, it is bloody freezing because, well, I guess it's November in a few days' time and I'm in the mountains, so that's not really that surprising. The best apple crumble serves for. I will be peeling and coring apples here for this cooking video. Scales! I made a crumble!
Oh my god.
Bake Off who?
Me and Crumble. The best of pals. Call me Mary Berry in her youth.
You're more of a prue leaf.
Oh, I actually am, you know? So I feel like she wears really colourful clothes.
Yeah. You know it.
Oh my god! That's not how you do it!
Yeah, boy.
Fucking learn it! I give you one job.
I literally just need to go to bed today. I think I might have burned the bottom layer.
Yeah, I think so.
I've got a burnt bottom.
Nice.
But let's just mix it all in.
Have you got a spoon? There's loads left in there.
I know, but I didn't want to save some in case this tastes like shit.
Okay. Kata Kras says, how do you and the other athletes agree what paces to run at when you are together?
Basically, whoever's feeling good, which is usually Anya, because we all feel like crap.
Statistically, I'm the slowest here, so it's my only time I can like two-step anyone on an easy run.
We're all on the back of Anya's train.
Yeah.
She's the captain.
That is true, actually.
Yeah. The captain. So Anya decides
Captain Culling at the front.
Yeah. Do you know what? I rate it though. I like that. I don't have to make a decision. I just get on with it. Just get involved.
Literally. We don't really decide, do we? We just run. It's an evolution.
We go hard every day.
It just happens. Yeah, it's sprint or nothing.
That's how it works really.
I think it's the beauty of a good group dynamic.
Yeah, that's so true.
When you don't have to like talk it out.
No one said a thing.
Yeah.
You just go for it. Yeah, it's good.
We
just
feel
go
each
for
other's
it.
vibe, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We all just lock in. Also, you'd be kind of a bit of a dick if you just ran like half a mile ahead, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So we can accept like 4 or 5
steps,
steps.
like-
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've gathered the troops.
Alicia.
What have you done? You burned your finger. You burned it. Alicia. It's fucking hot. Burn her finger. She sucked the custard and spat it in my face.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
CSPW. How do you know all the other people you're with?
We don't know each other. Actually, none of us know each other.
That's a really hard question.
Found us ladies on the street.
That's a good question. None of us actually.
None of us actually know each other.
No, the only people that
Okay, no, we're gonna stop. How do we know each other? We were for a few months arguing together.
You were there for your first term and I was there
Yeah.
for my last term.
we met in Flagstaff.
Okay, number one.
What year?
We met.
In around 2015, I want to say.
Yeah, when
you joined Aldershot.
I joined Aldershot, yeah, and you were there.
Yeah.
Running really fast.
So we go to the same club.
That's 4 weeks ago, baby. That's wild. Well, I know her.
Yeah. Anya, when did we officially meet?
This year, I think I met everybody this year. I
Yeah.
met Phily and I shared
me
a room at
first?
Copenhagen.
In May?
Yeah, Copenhagen Marathon.
Yes.
And then Holly and I,
Backseat.
back to sea, went for a run.
Yeah.
So like,
But we're actually
run.
from Norwich.
Yeah.
We're from same area.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And then me and Tara met in January 2021. We've slept in a bed together ever since.
I met everyone else when I arrived.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
was my stowaway.
ago.
And then I kind of met you in America.
I've met you. Yeah. I don't know how I met you.
I think it was Copenhagen Half.
No.
Like properly.
But I knew you before that.
Yeah, but it's just like you know who each other are.
Yeah.
Right?
Instant know each other.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say I properly knew you, like.
I think I probably said like a couple of sentences to you at a race or something, like relays or something.
Yeah, probably.
Probably like, oh fuck's sake, why are we here? Or like before a race.
Yeah, I didn't race you in the States at all.
And now we're a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come meet us.
Blood sisters.
Good luck editing that, Daniel. We have got a long run tomorrow.
Oh wait, there's that. I don't know if that's where
It was very sweet. No, I collected all the peel.
I'm not sure I like it. So
This is a traditional dessert in a British pub.
is it?
Apple crumble and custard or ice cream. It's like what you have after a roast dinner on a cold night.
Oh yeah.
It's very British.
We're educating Tara.
I don't think French is good. What?
Delicious.
Yeah, normally
I like the crumble a lot. I don't really like that creamy thing.
You know that's French. That's creme anglaise.
They f***ed it.
right, cool, right.
Now that we are satisfied and crumbled, H. Larper or Jalapa says, who are your altitude friends and what are they all training for? So, I guess let's find out.
My name is Alicia. I'm 22. I'm from France. South of France, baby. What I'm training for, it's a secret.
Oh.
You'll know in time.
Cross country. Maybe.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Holly. No,
Je suis chaude et rigolote.
je suis très chaude. No, I'm Holly. What was the other question? I'm more trained for the 1500. but kind of do high mileage, training for some cross and some road races in the winter, and hopefully we find some fitness by February. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Hello.
Delulu Limone.
Yeah, Delulu Limone, aka Anya Culling. I am a marathon runner, and I guess I'm not training for a marathon right now. I did Berlin 3 weeks ago, but a spring marathon.
Nice.
Yeah.
A spring marathon yet to be confirmed.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Teabag, T-dog, T-bear, T-pain, whatever you want to call me.
T insert word.
T-insert something. Yeah, my name is Taryn, officially, and I train for the 1500, but maybe some fall road races, and then get ready for indoor season.
Nice. And last but not least.
I am Neve, also Daddy Longlegs. I am training for just a bit of cross, a bit of road, just go with the flow.
She does it all!
Yeah.
There's a bit of that. And what are you training for, Phily?
Yeah.
I'm training for an unknown race on the 3rd of December. And then the Houston Marathon. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just need a race, basically. I've got a 20-mile run this morning, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous and excited because I love marathon training, and it's going to be fun. But I haven't run 20 miles since I ran 26.2 in May. So it's going to be PB long run of this block. Maybe you should call it a season's best, because it's like I have run that far, but I don't know. It's a big deal. So, to calm my nerves a little bit, and whilst I mix up my drinks and slightly rush to get ready, I thought I'd answer a couple more questions. So, perhaps I'll find some quick ones. Erica B_runner says, caffeine intake. Yes. Is that a question? Caffeine intake and why did you cut your hair? Okay, first off, my caffeine intake is fairly low. I drink tea in the morning, not coffee. Controversial, I know, but I love it. I will have a coffee if I go out to a coffee shop once a week or two, really. Sometimes before a race. And then I am so caffeine sensitive, probably because I don't drink a lot of coffee, that I have a third of a caffeine gel before a race, which is like 33 milligrams or something like that. But we're all different. Why did I cut my hair? Because I wanted to. And I think it looks great. ASMR toothbrushing. Have acquired an audience of one member. Trying to find a quick question. Okay, fella Zoe. I can only guess that this person has come over to my Instagram from my declaration of love reel for Daniel, which was, you know, it's a digital birthday card. Daniel hates birthday cards, so I made him a reel and it blew up and he's very smug about it. She says, how long has Daniel been living in England? He only has a British passport, you know, he is British. Shoot, I've not been counting these carb scoops. Oh well. Daniel was born in Switzerland, moved back to the UK when he was 7. His dad is British, his mum is Greek. They were living and working in Switzerland at the time. And the Swiss are pretty harsh, you know, if you're born there, you don't automatically get a passport, so he's only got a British passport. I think he probably could have a Greek one too, but he'd probably have to be in the military for a year, and I'm not sure Daniel would be up for that. We are leaving in 14 minutes. It's warning number 1. Believe it or not, Neve is actually worse at getting ready in the morning than I am. Impressive, I know. Well, I said I was filming this video over a couple of days, and that has now become 4 days. It's Monday. I've got my first rest day of this training camp, and I'm on my way to the bakery. But first, I'm going to answer a few more questions because I've got a lot to get through. Aw, this is a nice one. Loz805 says, not sure if you already answered, but how did you and Daniel meet? Lots of love. I think we might have answered this one in our couples sit down question and answer video. Maybe we did. How to cut a long story short. We met on Tinder. I was back from America, having been out there for a term, and I was bored. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend, but I was looking for something. Oh God. I downloaded Tinder. I went on my first ever Tinder date
which was with Daniel on the 23rd of December, the day before Christmas Eve in 2019. And we just hit it off straight away. It was a Sunday night, there was no one out. We were at a tapas bar. We had some spicy food, which I sat my way through and hated, but was polite and didn't mention that I had no spice tolerance. We had some cocktails, and then the bar shut and we weren't done, so we went to this god-awful yet also slightly amazing nightclub in Reading called Purple Turtle. And we were out till 4 a.m. And the rest is kind of history. We had 3 more dates within 10 days, and then I flew back to America on the 2nd of January. And we spent the first 6 months of our relationship on FaceTime. Pretty cool story. We have another Daniel question. I'm going to stick with the theme here. Erica has asked, what is Daniel's worst habit? So many to choose from. I'm joking! What is Daniel's worst habit? I'm actually struggling to think. I would say getting overly frustrated and angry at technology. He is not an angry person, generally, but when technology doesn't work properly or how it's supposed to, or he can't figure out how to work it, or, you know, whether it's editing or, I don't know, expensive gadget that we've got, his stance is it's expensive, it's technology, it should work, and when it doesn't work he gets very frustrated, whereas I don't. I get it, but I would say, yeah, I'd say that. So the clock's changed, which means it's nearly dark. I feel like I've done nothing with my rest day, so I'm going to answer as many questions as I can in the next 5 minutes of sitting on this balcony. Which doesn't mean 5 minutes of footage, because I often stumble over my words, which is the stuff that you guys don't see. But I'm going to set my watch for 5 minutes and see if I can do some quick fire, reeling through the last few questions that I need to answer. And look how moody the sky looks. It's definitely raining over there. Okay, the storm's coming in. 5 minutes. Let's go. Okay. First question. Do you think it's sexist the way that girl elites have to dress for races, small panties and bras? No, we don't have to dress like that. We have the choice of what we wear. We're also allowed to wear vests, t-shirts, shorts, tights, the lot, the same choices that the men get. Obviously, the men don't get to wear the sports bras and briefs, but yeah, we get a choice. I feel empowered by wearing that race uniform. It makes me feel fast. I feel like a superhero, and you can choose what you wear. If you don't feel comfortable in that, you don't have to wear it. I run at 15-minute mile pace. Do you have any encouraging words for me? Yes, keep going. You're amazing. You're doing it. And if you keep training, you will get faster. Train smart. Make sure you run some interval sessions as well as your easy runs, and I promise that pace will come down. How much does altitude affect your training paces, and how long before you see the benefits after? So we adjust paces for reps that are 800 and longer, so K reps, tempo, anything longer than 800 meters, we adjust the pace so that it's slower. For the height that I'm at, that's roughly 10 seconds per mile, so if I was running a tempo at 5:45 pace at sea level, we'd run it at 5:55 pace up here. As you've been at altitude for longer, 3+ weeks, that tends to be less important because you've adapted and you can often run a little bit faster than you could, say, in week 1. How long before you see the benefits? You tend to feel really good 2 days after coming down, and or 3+ weeks after coming down. Most people, give or take, feel a little bit naff in that in-between period because your body is readjusting to being at sea level. I don't understand exactly how the science works there, but the benefits are long-lasting as well. Yes, they peter off, but stacking altitude camps on top of each other, i.e. going 3 to 4 times a year for the length of time that I'm going, will improve that red blood cell increased effect, and you'll adapt quicker at altitude as well, which is great. Ah, my god, this is so... I'm not answering these questions quick enough. What do you do for fun at altitude camp? We have been to the spa, we've been to the baths, we go for hikes together, we go for dinner, we rest and just chat and be silly, and there's also a bowling alley here, so we're going to go there at some point too. Alcohol intake. Do you include alcohol in your diet or lifestyle? Not really, no. When I'm in a peak training block or I'm targeting a key race, I don't drink any alcohol at all. I will probably have a drink on Christmas Day, and for special occasions, if there's a wedding or a birthday party, I will have a few drinks. I'm quite a lightweight because I don't drink very often, so I'm a cheap night out, and I'll probably get drunk
maybe once or twice a year because I really don't drink that often. It doesn't benefit my training, and I think you enjoy letting your hair down a little bit more when you do it infrequently. Shin splints, help please. Okay, I will put a link in the description for a really good video to help with shin splints. It's a self-massage technique that I used when I had shin splints, but also strengthen your calves. Your calves are weak if you've got shin splints, probably. Also, I'm not a physio. What is the inspo for the cats' names? Uhtred is named after a Viking character from Netflix, and Delilah is named after Freddie Mercury's cat. Do you schedule rest days, and what do you do mobility foam rolling? Yes, I do. I'm having one now. My coach schedules them for me. I have one roughly every 2 to 4 weeks, and I rest. I try and move a little bit and do a bit of active recovery by going for a walk, but other than that, I do nothing. How long recovery after a marathon do you need? I did Amsterdam 13 days ago in 2:52, well done, and legs are still shot. So there's a theory that it takes a day per mile to recover. So roughly 26 days. I don't know if you heard that. It's thundering and lightninging. Okay, I have 35 seconds left. So I'd say roughly 3 to 4 weeks of just easing back into easy running. Definitely take a week to 10 days or 2 weeks completely off, and then after a month you can start easing back into your normal schedule. Okay, 22 seconds left. How do you manage the days when you wake up and it's harder to get the session done? I focus on my why I'm doing this, why I need to be motivated, and why I need to get the training done, rather than just feeling motivated all the time. And the video I just released, which was 7 tips to run a faster marathon, has a really good tip where I go more in depth about that knowing your why process, and that is 5 minutes. So I'm calling it there, and a storm is swooping in, guys, so I think that's a good sign that I need to go inside and just rest harder than I've already been resting. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A video, and I promise I'll do another one next time I go to altitude. I'm going to make it a little training camp tradition because I love answering all your questions. Wow, love the grind.